go tear it down all the way and throw it in the parking anymore. So you need to get
Well, friends, this is our next victim to see if we can't get this running. Again, another auction buy. I paid $10 for it. They said it runs. I just spent about 5 minutes out there pulling my guts out, and it won't start. So we're gonna have to go through it and see what happened and why it won't run. It's sat outside for quite a while. Back you up. It sat outside for a while. Has the bagger chute on it, and there's the bagger sitting right there. So that's no problem. It needs cleaned up really good. At the time, these snappers were a pretty high-end machine. They were, you know, a unit like this. I remember when I worked at the small engine repair place. These snappers, this one right here would sell for, you know, like $800 at the time. You know, that may be a little more than what I remember, but I do remember these snappers being like between $600 and $800 for a self-propelled. I didn't get the side chute with it, so there's nothing we can do there. It's gonna have to be sold as a bagger unit. But it has a Briggs & Stratton on it. Should be a 3.5. Most of these had at this era were all 3.5s. Has the somebody changed the gas tank and carburetor on it, and they had put one of the plastic styles on it. Is that the plastic style? No, I think that is a metal style. Yep, metal style. Should be like a 5-screw carb. This one actually, the pickup tube goes right down from your carburetor right down inside the gas tank. Looks like somebody put a new spark plug in it. Ooh, how's it going? And what's nice about these ones is they're really easy to shift, you know, to change the speed. And you just move your lever. You can see low and high speed, and all it is a rubber friction wheel that moves across the plate. And as you go out further, it speeds up because you're running on the outside of the plate more and more. The bigger the plate, the faster it goes. And these get kind of gummed up. They get rusty. So if they sit outside a lot, these shafts rust up and you can't shift them. This one's not too bad. It does need cleaned up and greased, and we'll do that. 2 belts, 1 belt coming off of the mower, off the motor, back to your friction plate, and then a belt coming off of your friction drive unit back to your wheel, and then you have a little transmission. Well, or rear end, I should say, not transmission. Pretty simple. The friction plates, these friction drive units, normally the only thing that goes wrong with them is like I said, the shaft that your friction wheel rides across on gets rusty and it doesn't want to move. And eventually you do wear out the rubber. Don't forget your rubbers. You'll wear out the rubber on friction drive, which is no big deal because those are available, even aftermarket, from Stens. I think you can either buy the whole unit, or you can see these come apart. You can just buy the rubber wheel, unbolt that, and you can replace the wheel. A lot of other companies went to that design I know my Toro snowblower has the same design on it, and I've seen a lot of snowblowers with the same design made by MTD. So I don't know if MTD bought Snapper or let me think about that for a minute. Yeah, MTD did buy out Snapper. When, I don't know, but I do know all my Snapper tractors, the guys that come in looking for blades for the Snapper tractors, the blades are 6-point star, which is MTD, and 5-point star is AYP. And in my videos you will see me using a lot of Stens parts because I am a Stens dealer. I have an order coming in every week. So if I need parts, I just throw it on the order, and I order on Tuesday, and usually Thursday I have my order. Today's Thursday, but I didn't order till Wednesday this week because I needed to check on this and make sure. I ordered a blade for it. I don't know if it needs it or not. If it doesn't, I will put the, woohoo, can't do that. I will put the blade over on the table for sale because there's guys looking for snapper blades. I don't know why I don't have them over there to begin with. But pretty simple. Like I said, you have your throttle all the way forward, start, back is off, and this is your engage. You can see it engages that belt. Very seldom do I see any of these idlers go bad on these. They seem to have put some really good ones on these units, because like I said, these were pretty high end at the time. I'll bet this one's probably from the 80s, somewhere in the 80s, just from from what I can remember selling them. But now we need to get this fixed and running so we can sell it. So I'll get you put in a stand and we'll get started on this. First thing we're probably going to do is I'll pull the air cleaner off of it and take a look at the carburetor. I'm sure it needs a new diaphragm. That's why it's not pumping and firing. This one, the kill switch on this one, let's see, should be on the carburetor. We'll see it. We'll see when we get into it, when we get that off. So I'll get you set up and we'll get started on this one. Yeah, first things first, let's get this air cleaner off of here. This is an automatic choke, and somebody has already put in a new air filter, but it's the wrong one. This is the new style with the point, and that one is on the ground. And this takes kind of what I always called a kidney shape. You know, it'll work, but we need to have the right one on here. The original one comes up and folds over the air cleaner all the way around it, so when you put the lid on it, it seals it. Plus the metal guy that keeps it from crushing is missing. And that's what actually, when it starts, there's little indentations on this metal sleeve that goes down in here. You couldn't see anything. Anyway, let's start over again. The metal sleeve that fits down in here, there's 4 little metal, it's a metal sleeve that fits in here, and it has a lip on it, and it has 4 indentations on it. So when you slide that down in there, and when you're drawing in air, it draws in these 4 areas and draws up through the bottom of the air filter and filters the air. Well, without that metal sleeve in there, what you're doing is for starters, you can crush it with the screw. Plus, you can see you're not filtering anything because you're sucking air right through the bottom. So that's one thing we'll have to get a hold of. Now this has an automatic choke, which if you're not familiar with these, the automatic choke is right under your vent for your crankcase. What it is it's a coil that's all wound up, and as it heats up, it opens your choke. It's called an automatic choke. Wait a minute. Nope. Scratch that. This is just your vent under this little guy right here is your automatic choke. Should be a little spring that goes all the way down inside, and then as it heats up, it will open up your choke. Pretty sure. It's been so stinking long. But we can take this carburetor off of here. That governor spring's kind of... That's the wrong governor spring on it too. I mean, yeah, it'll work. But we may not get enough. Why is that carburetor ever sloppy? Alright. Now I need to get some more tools. So there will be times that I do sound like an idiot because I have forgotten more than most people know about these things. And that's not tooting my own horn either. Have to get us a tray. Okay, now we can just slowly wiggle him out of there and off. Come on. There we go. There's your sleeve, your bushing, your spacer. Make sure you don't lose that. Those things are hard to find. Yeah, that spring is not right. Alright, now we know what we need here with that carburetor is we need the right spring, and we need geez, I'm kind of forgetting what the hell I'm doing. I'm doing stuff and not even thinking about it. We need to get the right air filter for it. And we also need to get the wrong plug. Imagine that. Need to get the guts for inside the air filter. And I'm almost positive we're going to need a new diaphragm for this, because it's not the pumping at all. No, I was right. This is one of those plastic carburetors. This one came with a metal style carburetor on it. We'll get into that a little bit later. And now we need to see if we have some spark. Let's see, we are looking right there. You tell me if we got spark. I don't see a thing. It's pretty bright out here. Yep, I've seen it that time. I don't know if you did or not. Yeah, we got spark. I had to shade it a little bit. So we know we got spark. Recoil needs a little help too. Alright, now what else do we need to do before we... We need to take that top, take the recoil off of it. We can work on that a little bit. And we also need to make sure that we don't have a critter nest under it. Just take that off and get it out of the way. And it looks like that gas tank is leaking. Isn't it? Yep, that gas tank's leaking. We're going to need a new gas tank too for this. Isn't that just lovely? So we'll have to head over to my stash then and see what we can find over in my mess. Let's see, I need to... since we have to remove the screws, let's see if there's any oil in it. Looks like a little too much, but we are sitting on an angle. And it's not terrible. Okay, I can't get at the dip tube without removing the chute. So we'll just pull the tube and all. Just 3 screws holding the blower housing on and starter. Let's see if we can get that tube to come up. Oh, she filthy. She a dirty girl. Man. She's pretty carboned up looking. Let's see, that's good. But yeah, we definitely need to clean this guy up. And the ratchet is good. But our recoil kind of hangs up. Looks like you're... I think there might be... Nope, it's just dirty. Needs a little oil down inside there and on our slides here. We'll get that freed up as well. You can see it's see how dirty it is down in there. And it's just going to cause it to run hot. And there's this shield here, goes all the way down underneath, and there's a screw back in there that holds this shield on, and the only way to get at that little screw back in there is to pull the motor. And it goes down around, and then the screw's way back in there to remove that part of the housing. So we're just going to have to clean it the best we can by compressed air. You see a lot of carbon and oil around the muffler. So, yep, we have to get her cleaned up. Flywheel looks good. Looks like it was rubbing at one time. We'll check. Yep. Let's rub it on that. Yeah, we'll change that gap. They have it way too tight, and if you have even the slightest bit of play back and forth, it's going to hit the coil, and that's what you see here, rubbing the coil. That's something else we'll take care of. You know, there's a few things that needs to be done to this. Mainly just cleaning it up, and I'm sure it's going to be just mainly carburetor work. Has all these automatic chokes needed. And we'll have to get another tank. Hopefully I got another tank over there, I'm sure. There's got to be another tank over in that amongst that mess. And hopefully it's a white one, and we can make it the same. So let me take a little bit of time here, and I'm gonna get this cleaned up, and I'm gonna start making a list of what I need for this. Okay, got my little list. Need a carb and a tank. The right spark plug, of course, air filter cone. That's that little metal sleeve that goes down through the air filter. Need the right governor spring and an air filter so far. And on this one, you can see when you... There's a little... See this little tab right there? This is your kill wire. Comes through and hooks through the back side. Hooks onto this little tab. And when you put it to stop, what it does is it just touches on here and grounds it out and shuts off the mower. Let's see, this one was also set up for a brake. Now I don't know if that was an afterthought. They were gonna put it on these ones or not. There's a brake band, and it goes around, and it hooks. There's a little mechanism that sits over here that the brake band hooks onto, and then when you pull that handle, you squeeze that handle, what it does is it loosens the band up, and then it'll start. And when you release it, what it does is that brake band clamps down on the flywheel and stops the motor from running. Now this could have very well have had it. It may not even be the right motor. Could have been a newer style motor. They just took everything off the old one and put it on this one. Because at that time they did not have that, and that flywheel, like I said, it looks like something's been rubbing on that all the way around. Well, that's what you get when you have a brake band on them. So, and this little that little wire tamer there, this kill wire would come around, go through there, and that little mechanism would sit, you know, right on the ass end here. This isn't the right piece of the blower, but you know, that's why I'm saying this might not be the motor that was supposed to be on here. And hopefully if they change the motor, pick up my pen. Yep, looks like we're okay. You have to watch you can see over there, maybe you can see the blade is set up inside the mower deck about an inch, and that's what you want. There's so many different size crankshaft lengths of crankshafts for different decks, and that's what you have to watch out. You don't want the blade being way up inside there where you have to set the mower down so far that it's almost dragging on the ground to get your height that you want, and you don't want it too long where it's hanging down below the deck. So that's just something that you got to look out for if you're putting one motor off of one mower deck to the other. I'm going to go over and see if I can't find a carbon tank for this and an air filter, that metal piece that goes down inside the baffle, I should call it, air cleaner baffle. I'll go over and get that. Spark plug, I have those. The air filter I'll have to bring up this weekend for it, because I don't have any of the foamies for these. I have the 549s for the 5-horse with the big flat air cleaner on the front. Those I have here. But foamies, I never run into too many of the foamies. It's been mostly the newer stuff. But I do have them hanging up on the wall down there. So I'll bring one of them up. But let me go over and see if we can't locate a gas tank and that for this first. Alright folks, it's been almost a week since I've been able to do anything on here. As you can see, we got a little rain. It didn't wash anything off, just put a little bit of water in our recoil. But I went over and dug around and brought a bucket full of crap over here. Let's see, found another single post carburetor and tank. That tank's pretty rusty looking inside, but you know, we can clean that up. I'm pretty sure that's a good one too. But I did find a good pulse jet. You can run these pulse jets on any of the push mowers. It just has the primer bulb on it. This is actually a primer bulb, not a purge like on our 2-strokes. And this one we can use. I brought a kit home for it. We can change the diaphragm and use that if we want to. But while I was over there rooting around, I found another BVM 200 engine sitting amongst all my stuff. And this is a new style as well. I think this one's locked up though. It's either locked up. No, I think it's still free. I think it's full of bolts. And I think there's a bunch of screws and that down in there holding us up. But we need to take a look at that for that previous project we did. We might be able to, put one together and try out those aftermarket carburetors. I couldn't find that air cleaner baffle. Couldn't find one of those baffles. So I ended up ordering one. I don't know how many of those I've thrown away. But we can take a look. You can use most of these pulse jets on any of these. Usually the only difference is that vent tube is either a little too long. Yep. Another project I just picked up. So we might be able to use this pulse jet Yep, she'll go right on there. And we can turn it into a new style. Or I don't have a single post diaphragm kit. I do have a two poster, but no single post. So we may go ahead. That's got a hole in it. Yeah, it's really crap now. Yeah, look at that. That tank's got a hole in it. I guess we don't have to worry about that. I guess we know for sure which one we're going to use. Sure enough. Oh well, now we know for sure which one we're using. We're going to use the pulse jet. But first thing I'm going to do is I want to clean this up before we start putting it back together and making sure it'll run. I want to clean it because I know these little Briggs & Stratton, these little 3.5s, you don't have to do much to them and they'll run. So I'll get busy. I'm going to get this thing all cleaned up so we can move forward with it and get her going. Okay, while we're waiting for the mower to kind of dry off there, we'll get our carburetor and tank ready to go on. And see, this has been sitting around for quite a while. I save as many of these as I can because, you know, they're interchangeable. You can put them on any of the 3.5s. You know, some of them you have to do a little bit of alteration. It's when you get into when you're changing it over from a two poster, the one that breather tube is, I think it's a little too long, if I'm not mistaken, but you can, you know, no big deal. All you have to do is you can trim it down or you can change it, you know, whichever you feel. Now, when I call something a two poster or a three poster, see, this is a two post. These pulse jets have two posts. That's what's actually, when you push your primer bulb, that's what sucks up the fuel up in through here and shoots it right through that little, from this end, you can see this little protrusion sticking out. That's where the gas will actually shoot through into the motor. But this one, and these don't have a jet, so to speak. It's a fixed jet in them. Let's see, I may have misspoke, but I'll tell you here in a minute. Yeah, I did. Okay, this is also your fuel pump. Here's your pump side right here. This is what pumps the fuel. There's that little check valve or flapper. There's two flappers here and here. What those do is, when you push the primer ball, it will suck fuel up and it goes down into this little cup right here. Right here, this pocket right here is for your gotta make sure you don't lose that little spring. That little pocket is actually the fuel pump area. What it does is it'll pulse and it'll open up and it'll suck it down, drawing fuel up the tube and deposit it in here. And then what it does, goes through this little screen and screens it off. There's two ports here. There's one of them that sucks it up and deposit it, and then when it pulses again, it'll also push it into here and into your pickup area. It's a simple carburetor, simple design. They work really well, and looks like we got some water. Yep, water in the tank. Want to make sure it's just water before I throw it out in the parking lot. Okay, now what I am going to do is I am going to get everything all cleaned up here, and we'll get our new diaphragm and gasket put on it, and it'll be ready to be put on. Yeah, nice. Alright, got her all cleaned up. What do we got? And got our new gasket and diaphragm. Diaphragm down, gasket up. Like so. Oop. I don't put plastic carburetors in the ultrasonic. I usually just clean them up. Oh shit, and I just shot my spring across the driveway. Yep. Hold on, got lucky. Now let's not do that again. I did. God. Okay, got lucky. I found it. Now let's not do that again, because I don't know. There we go. If I can find that again. Alright. Here we got our little spring on. That's what holds pressure down on our fuel pump. Put him right down. Come in. Sometimes you get lucky. A specific spring for these. And I know I don't have another one. But these gaskets and diaphragms, it's very common with our gas today. With all the ethanol eating up everything, that after every season, the following season when you get these out, that diaphragm is going to be like paper. You don't have to get real tight on these. But you know, if it's your mower, you know, it's no big deal let me grab a rag. It's no big deal if you know how to use, know how to replace them. Because most of the time after sitting over the winter, like around here, we cut grass about, if we're lucky, 6 months, if that. And you can see what I sell them for. $2 1/4. Now that's last year's price. This year, I haven't gotten any in yet this year. I had a good supply of them for this year, but I think I did order some this time. I'll see what they are when they come in. May have to go up to like $2.50, another $1/4 on them, which is, if you know how to do it and you can do it yourself, you don't have to pay anybody to do it. Yeah, half an hour, and you could have that changed out, all cleaned up and ready to go back on. So it's no big deal. Especially with YouTube, you can find out how to do it. Alright, we got our carburetor all ready to go on it. I'll see if our mower's ready. I'll go ask it if it's ready. And we'll get it back up on here and get that on there, and we'll be closer to getting her started. Alright, let's change this governor spring. See, this motor has just has a wind, or kind of a wind vane governor on it. And what it does is when the flywheel's spinning, it moves this little vane right here, and your battery is flashing. Why don't you run in there and change your battery? Can you do that for me? There we go. Let me change your battery out. Just like change your diaper. That's better. Now, where were we? Oh, the governor. When your flywheel's spinning, what it does is it pushes on this little vane here, and it'll slow the engine down. The more throttle you give it, it spins faster, and this will pull it out further and further. And what it does is it just kind of sustains a certain speed that you set with your governor spring and your throttle. Now this should be the right one for this. Let's see, where's the end? Which side is it on? There it is. Get a hold of it just right. There we go. And then that goes right down. And now you can't see, I'm sorry. Like so. And we can adjust the speed with this little tab right here. If we pull it out, we can speed it up if we don't have enough RPMs on it. Now, the tank. Don't forget your bushing. Oh, crap. Get over here. Where'd you go? There you are. Get over here. where'd you go? There you are. We got everything lined up. Yep, we'll be adjusting that, I can tell that right now. Alright, now, recoil. On the top of this starter ratchet, there is a wee little hole. And there's a sponge underneath of it that will soak up some of that oil, and it slowly oils that your crankshaft. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a little bit of oil down inside my starter housing as well. Just to get some on our spring. I don't need to take it apart. That oil will work down in there. And that'll just make it so that spring can glide over itself. Dip tube out of it. Put our dip tube back in. And so 1, 2. One bolt missing. Let me see if I can't locate it. Okay, let's get our... see, somebody's got this throttle cable going the wrong way, upside down. And so I'm sure it's been changed. hate being out here working, but this is what I have to do. Okay, I am going to, I think I'm going to tighten this up just a little bit. That's going to hit there. Let's put our throttle underneath. Let's see, that's all the way down. Ooh, that even feels better. See, now we can tweak this a little bit and kind of, I don't think there's going to be enough throttle. That spring, there we go. Let's see how that's better. Alright, now we need the right plug. Let me go get a J19LM. You can substitute, you know, the J19LM Champion with a CJ8, but I try and tell, you know, get most people to use the right plug, which is a J19LM. I behave, so I'll get up there and stay there. Let's see what we got going on. Yeah, it's good. Nice spark. Yeah, like I said, you can substitute and use a CJ8 in them. Most people do. They think oh crap. Okay, be back again. Tell you, nothing more irritating when you can't find your tools. And it's your own dang fault that you can't find them. Alright, now we got to put our dip tube back in. I'll spare you that. Get some gas in it. Yeah. Somebody didn't tighten up a couple of bolts. You're waiting to see if I'd notice, huh? Alright, let's see if we can get her primed up. There she goes. 1, 2, 3. How many pulls you think? Let's set that about right there. Nice. We only got one thing left to do, and that's our air cleaner. We can't even test it out. Let's put the bag on it. I don't want to be moving it and getting pegged with stuff coming up out of the chute. And at least now we can try out the drive. Nice. Gonna work out good. All we're missing is our baffle for our air cleaner. Just going to put that on in case it rains. I don't want to go through all that and then have it rain. So all we have left is to check the blade. I already changed the oil in it. When I was cleaning it and all that, I just went ahead and changed the oil. And what we'll do is, I think I need to sharpen the blade. We'll take a peek at the blade. I'll let you see it. And then we can go from there. And I think once we get our baffle in, I have the new air filter for it, and should be ready to cut somebody else's grass. Now all that's left is getting our air filter and cleaner all put back together. Got my little piece that goes inside. Right down through the hole. And you can see what I was talking about when it comes down and pushes everything together, and then you draw air through here, through these, down through into the carburetor. And what it does is then it directs all the airflow to come up through the bottom. So like I said, this is for a newer style. That's no good. Even with the baffle in place, it still will leave you empty spots. Like I said, it's just the wrong shape. Okay, now I have, see this one, this one is pretty much like this one, only it's a little bigger, and it does have the gasket around the outside that when you put it in, put the lid on it, it seals everything up. But again, wrong shape. This one is an older one. I've had this one around for quite a while. This is pretty much, I think this was the 5-horse, the old style 5-horse with just the one cut out in the corner. And that's where the blower housing that would sit down on there, and the blower housing comes up against it there, up against the air cleaner. This one, that's pretty much the right form, but that one is way too big. This is another one I've had around for quite a while. Again, that's for, I'm pretty sure that some of the 5s run this one too. The newer one, this is newer packaging anyway. That's the right style and the right filter for us. Let's see, that should fit right down inside there, like so. And you put your baffle, goes in. Now that's more like it. But what we need to do is put a little oil on this guy before we get it all together and put on there. Now today I'm not going to be able to show you cutting grass with it because it's been raining all day, and I need to load this mower up to take with me tomorrow. Today's Friday. So let me get a little bit of oil. We'll smear some oil on that and get her ready to go. Meant to bring that over with me when I come over with everything, but I forgot. It was sitting outside. Now the purpose of the oil is it helps trap dust and contaminants. Yep, the oil will suck up contaminants a lot easier, or pick them up a lot easier than just a foam filter. You don't have to drown it in oil. Just a nice thin coating will work suffice. Baffle down in, or diverter, whatever you want to call it. And And like I said, see, the filter itself acts as a gasket around the outside, so when you put it on, it'll seal up and run good. Let's see, air cleaner maintenance, clean and re-oil foam every 25 hours, more often under dusty conditions. Yeah, like that happens all the time, huh? Like everybody's going to continue to do that every 25 hours. Not. Usually I get them in and the foam's deteriorating. Okay, so now we need to get this back on the push mower, on our snapper, and we'll be ready to fire it back up, make sure it's okay, and then I can load it up to take it to sell. Okay, let's see if we can get some water flowed out of the bag before I go load it up and before it starts raining again. I hear thunder. 1, 2, 3. Alright, the friction wheel was a little wet. Had to get it and run it a little bit so it would warm it up and dry it off. But that's going to do it. Now, what do we have into this? We have $10 for buying the mower. The gas tank gas tank and carburetor I had in stash. Because the old one had a leak and I didn't have a 2-post or a single post diaphragm kit for it. And let's see, the air filter my cost is about $1.75, so we have about $11.75 in this, plus about $4 in oil, so we have $15.75. So we got $15.75 in it. And what are we going to sell it for? I'm going to start it at $75 and we'll go from there. Somebody's going to offer me probably $40 and I won't take it. Okay, so that's what I got for you today. Hope you enjoyed this video. And I really hope to see you on the next one. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. This channel is just getting started, and we have a lot of things coming up that's going to happen here at Bald Guy Garage. And if you like seeing electronics repair, pinball machines, stereo equipment, and arcade machines, check out my other channel, Retro Gaming with Hopper. So until next time, adios, amigos.